If you want to learn how to turn a standard image like this into a full 3D cinematic scene, or an image like this into this realistic scene, I have a good news for you. You've clicked on the right video. Because in today's tutorial I'll show you how to generate cinematic images for free, how to turn them into full 3D scenes with a parallax effect, and how to make them visually stunning with a color correction. So let's see what we're going to create today.
It was a sunny morning in October 1962. No one in the United States expected bad news. But it was then that the US president realized his country was one step away from nuclear war.
Let's start from creating a new comp 9020 by 1080, 30 frames per second, 20 seconds long. I recommend you to sort all assets into folders right away to make your work easier. Remember that all assets are available via the Google Drive link in the description of this video. Throughout this tutorial, I'll explain where I find certain assets, so be sure to watch the video until the end. We can drag this capital image to our comp and scale it down. Now I'll tell you what we're going to do next. First, we'll add the necessary assets and overlays to this scene and place them in 3D space to create a parallax effect. I'll also explain how to generate these cinematic images for free. While adding assets to the scene, we'll also make minor color corrections to ensure that each asset blends well with the other. However, we'll make the main visual improvements at the very end. These improvements will make the scene more cinematic. Next, we'll create an animation for the text 1962 and move on to the transition to another scene. After that, we'll arrange the assets of the second scene in 3D space and then proceed to full color correction of the entire scene. Trust me, you'll learn a lot in this tutorial, so let's get started. As for this image of the capital, I generated it for free using the Leonardo AI service. Here you can see the settings I used, as well as the prompt for the image. You don't need to make such a long prompt. You can try writing realistic capital USA building daylight and see what you got. Our image seems too contrasting to me, so it's better to apply brightness and contrast effect and lower the contrast. Let's make this image 3D right away and add a new 28mm one-node camera. Also create a new null object, name it cam control, and parent camera to it. This null will help us to create camera movements in future. We created this camera in order to arrange all assets in 3D space immediately after adding them to comp. We'll start with something simple, the US flag fluttering in the wind. Drag the flagpole Adobe Illustrator or EPS file to our comp and make it 3D. By the way, I found this asset on the FreePic website and then I just removed this white flag using Adobe Illustrator. Also click on Continuously Rasterize icon here. By enabling this icon, we'll increase the quality of vector layer and the quality will be on the same high level even after scaling this layer. Also click on this anchor point icon and move it down here. Now it will be much more easier for us to change the scale of this layer. I recommend to scale this layer down to around 50%. We need to create the visual impression that this flagpole is behind the bushes. To do this, I recommend clicking on the pen tool and creating a little mask below the flagpole. After that, invert the mask and press F on your keyboard to feather it just a little bit, and move it closer to the bushes. I also think we need to apply drop shadow on this layer with distance set to 1 and softness set to 2 to make it more visible. Drag USA flag to our comp, apply the key light effect, and using a pipette remove this green color. By the way, I found this asset on YouTube by searching USA flag green screen. Make it 3D and place it under the flagpole layer. Decrease its scale to around 3.6% and place it here. As you see, our flagpole and USA flag differ slightly in color from the bluish tint of the building, so let's fix it. Simply apply a tint effect on our flag and here near map white 2 click on pipette. Now choose this blue column area as a new color. After that, decrease amount to tint to 35%. Copy this effect by pressing Ctrl C and paste it on flagpole pressing Ctrl V. Our flag is waving too slowly in the wind, so right click on this layer, go to time stretch and change stretch factor to 45%. This will speed up the flag overlay video. Now let's replace this static sky with a real one. First of all, we'll mask this area. After, we'll remove the remaining blue fragments, especially here near the trees. And then we'll add our sky asset with moving clouds. Okay, select our capital layer, click on the pen tool and start masking this area. You don't need to be super accurate here near the trees, because after masking we'll remove the remaining blue fragments of the sky near the trees. After finishing masking, press M on your keyboard and invert the mask. Right now it looks horrible, but don't worry, we'll fix it. First of all, let's increase the mask feather a little bit to around 10. To open the feather menu, press F on your keyboard. Apply color key effect, select pipette and choose this blue color here. After that, start increasing color tolerance, but not too much, because it can start keying our blue areas of the building, not the sky. Drag our blue sky background and place it under the capital layer. Make it 3D. By the way, I found this overlay on YouTube by searching for a blue sky background. Our lighting from the sun goes from this side, so right-click on the sky layer, transform, flip horizontal. It's time to color correct our sky a little bit. Apply Lumetri color, go to basic correction, and here increase whites to 35 and blacks to 109 to make our sky brighter and to match with these blue fragments near the trees. And on the capital layer, apply a key cleaner effect and increase additional edge radius. It will restore some of the parts that were removed by the mask. Move the timeline to 3 seconds, and if you see some blue area near the building, simply correct the mask to make this blue area less visible. Or you can decrease the mask expansion here at the mask settings. Let's also add some vignette on our sky. 85 amount will be enough. Awesome, it looks super realistic. We definitely want the sky to be far from the building to add some depth to our scene and to create a parallax effect when the camera is moving. So click here on two views, make sure second view is set to top, and simply move our sky layer to around 700 on Z position. Don't forget to correct its scale after that. And now if we'll move our cam control null on Z position, we'll see that our capital layer is approaching us faster than the sky. And that's what's called parallax effect. Objects that are closer to us approach us faster when we are moving than objects that are far away from us. Our next task is to create this nice rolling 1962 text animation. Create a new comp and name it 1962 text. Select a font with long letters. In my case, it's Montage font. Type 1. Duplicate this layer and type 9. Duplicate this layer again and type 6. One more time, 2. Make sure there is some space between 19 and 62, because these numbers will be behind our Capitol building and they should be visible behind it. Now select 1, double-click on it, press Enter on your keyboard and type 2. Enter one more time, type 3. Enter 4. Enter 5. And do this till number 9. And start moving this layer on Y position so that we have the number 8 in front of us. If you see that the numbers are close to each other, simply move them to a side a little bit. Now select our next layer with number 9. Double click and make sure this red line is standing before number 9. Type 8, press Enter. Type 7, press Enter. Do this till number 1. And start moving this layer on Y position, so we have the number 7 in front of us. Double-click on the layer with number 6 and make sure the red line is standing here after the number. Press Enter, type 5, Enter 4, Enter 3, Enter 2, Enter 1, Enter 2, Enter 3, Enter 4. So we have 9 numbers total as in previous layers. And start moving this layer on Y position so that we have the number 3 in front of us. Double-click on layer with number 2. Make sure the red line is standing before number 2. Type 3, Enter 4, Enter 5, Enter 6, Enter 7, Enter 8, Enter 9, Enter 1, Enter. And start moving this layer on Y position that we have the number 4 in front of us. Now create a new null object, place it between 19 and 62 letters here. Parent all the layers to this null and increase its scale to something like this. Go to 0 frames, select all the layers and create a position keyframes on all of them. Go to 2 seconds and move the first layer on Y position to number 1, second layer to number 9, third layer to number 6, fourth layer to number 2. And here at the last keyframes, make sure that the space between all the numbers are the same. If it's not the same, just correct it, but do it only at the last keyframes, don't move on timeline. Select all the keys, press F9 and create this speed graph with the peak on the left. In this case, our animation will start very fast and end very slowly. Now go to the main comp, drag 1962 here, make it 3D and place it near the sky on Z position. Adjust its scale. Select Rectangle tool and create this mask around our numbers. Feather it. And if some numbers are fully hidden by the building, or if you don't like how they're standing, simply go to 1962 comp, select all the keys on the first 2 layers, make sure you're at the last keys on timeline. Move them slightly, then select all the keys of other 2 layers and also move them if you need. Enable motion blur on all layers, go to main comp, move 1962 comp so it starts at 1 second 18 frames. Here create an opacity keyframe and decrease it to 0. At 1 second 24 frames, increase it back to 100. For a fade-up animation, we'll apply CC burn film effect. Create a burn keyframe at 3 seconds 29 frames. At 5:29, increase it to 100. Also change random seed to adjust the burn effect and find the perfect spot. And we definitely want to create numbers displays animation at the moment of burn effect. So go to 1962 comp, create a new adjustment layer, apply turbulent displays effect on it. Go to 2 seconds 11 frames and create a mount plus evolution keyframes. Change its values to 0. At 4 seconds 11 frames, increase amount to 70 and evolution to around 1x65 or maybe even lower. You can play with it. Select keys, press F9. It looks gorgeous, but we're not done with these numbers yet. And by the way, I see some blue artifacts near the capital. That's because of our key cleaner effect. To remove them, just enable reduce shutter here and increase alpha contrast. Let's get back to our numbers. Apply gradient ramp effect and place it at the top of CC burn film effect. Start color should be orange and color black. Make sure this gradient ramp effect is selected. In this case, you will see 2 dots. Place the first dot somewhere here and the second at the very bottom of the numbers. Also apply a deep glow and place it below CC burn film. After that, apply drop shadow and place it below deep glow effect. But for now, I will disable deep glow effect because it loads PC. I will enable it at the moment of final color correction. The next step is to drag this tree asset to our comp. I found it on YouTube by search tree overlay. There is a lot of different trees overlays here. To remove this black background, apply a color key effect and increase color tolerance. Make it 3D and move it to -700 on Z position, also decrease its scale to 32% and place it here at the left side. It's time to color correct this tree. Apply a tint effect and place it above the color key. Using a pipette near map white to select this green area. Decrease the amount to tint to 50%. Apply a limiter color and place it above the tint. Set temperature to 25, saturation to 86, highlights to 10, whites to 5. Finally, apply fastbox blur effect and place it below all the effects. Change its radius to 1 and create keyframe at 0 frame. At 4:24, change it to 9. This fastbox blur gives us the impression that the tree is out of focus and we're looking far away to this capital. And let's also create a camera movement to see our 3D depth and parallax effect in action. Create a cam control null position keyframe at 0 frames. Go to 8 seconds and change position to around 300. It looks so cinematic. Now drag leaves to our comp, apply color key effect to remove black BG. Increase color tolerance to 59. Copy limiter color and tint from the tree and paste it to leaves. Don't forget that these layers should be above the color key. Make this layer 3D, change its Z rotation to -88 and move on Z position closer to the tree. Change its scale to around 60. Now create this mask and feather it. Go to 0 frames and copy fastbox blue keyframes, paste it to leaves. At the last keyframe, change blur radius to 5. I also recommend to change the amount to tint on the leaves to 40% to make them less darker. Also, let's drag our eagle to this comp, keylight it, make 3D, and place somewhere here on Z position. By the way, I found this asset on YouTube. Just search for eagle green screen or birds green screen. Apply limiter color on it. Temperature -38, tint 10, exposure 0.7, contrast -60, shadows 20, whites -2, blacks 3. This layer should start at 2 seconds 23 frames. Create a position keyframe and move this eagle here out of the side. At 6:01, it should fly to another edge of the scene. I think it's better to slightly decrease the scale of our eagle. The last thing we need to do in this scene is to create the effect of sunlight shining through the trees. This is very easy to do. Simply apply CC light rays on the capital layer, click on this center icon and put it here, near the edge. Also, I think it's better to delete the vignette effect from our sky, because later we'll add vignette on all the scene. Set intensity to 120, radius to 25, warp softness to 25, shape to square. There is also a direction option. To create a constant direction of our rays, alt-click and type time *30. As you see, it's rotating constantly now. It's time to create a camera movement through the capital window to our next scene. So go to the end of Cam Control 1 keyframes and duplicate it. Delete keys on this duplicated null and parent Cam Control 1 to Cam Control 2. Go to 5 seconds 20 frames and create a position keyframe. At 10 seconds 12 frames, move on Z position through this window, so that value should be around 1580. Select keys, press F9 and create this speed graph with a peak at the center. So our first couple of seconds and the last seconds of movement will be slow. This will make our camera movement more smooth. To make our movement even more interesting, change second view to left. With selected keys, click on the pen tool and drag this right slider a little bit down. So now our camera goes down a little bit at the start and then move up. If you need, you can adjust cam control null position here at the end because it's important for us to go through the window. And we can cut blue sky background at 8 seconds 15 frames by pressing Alt plus right brackets on your keyboard because we don't need it anymore. Also, when we come closer to the capital, I see our flag and flagpole's quality are much better than the building. So apply the fast box blur effect on USA flag and at 7 seconds 22 frames create a blur radius keyframe. Go to 8 seconds 19 frames and increase it to 13. Copy these keys and paste to the flagpole, but the last flagpole blue keyframe should be set at 3.5 radius, not 13. Also, we need to open this window at the moment of transition to the second scene. We'll do this simply by masking this window. So first of all, go to 815, select capital layer and press Ctrl-Shift-D on your keyboard to cut the layer. Then delete key cleaner effect on this top layer because, as you remember, it changed our mask and we don't need it. Select the pen tool and mask the window. Press M on your keyboard and here at Mask 2 select Subtract. Duplicate this top layer one more time, pressing Ctrl-G. Here delete Mask 1 and change Mask to Add. And now simply create a mask path keyframe at 8 seconds 15 frames. At 8:26, double-click on mask and move it to the top. After that, move this second mask path keyframe to 9 seconds 22 frames. Select keys, press F9 and create a speed graph with a slight peak to the left. And I think our sky layer should be cut at 8:14. Drag cabinet image to our comp. By the way, I generated this image using Leonardo AI service. Here you can see my prompt. Make it 3D, move it to 694 on Z position, change its scale to 31.9%. Here we see some black edges. To fix it, apply a motion tile effect on the cabinet image, enable mirror edges, increase output width and output height to 120. Cut this cabinet layer at 8 seconds 15 frames. Drag woman image to our comp, make it 3D, cut at 8:15, move it to 436 on Z position and place it here at the right. Change its scale to 26.9%. Drag president comp, make it 3D, cut at 8:15, move him to 690 on Z position, change scale to 19% and place somewhere here near the window. But as you see, we need to mask this table. So duplicate cabinet comp, mask the table on duplicated comp. After that, place main layer between these two cabinet layers. All you need to do is hold Ctrl and slightly move main on Z position to find the sweet spot between masked tables. In my case, it's 494 on Z position. And also we can cut all the layers from scene 1 at 8:15 because we don't need them anymore. Flag and flagpole layers should be cutted after 9 seconds. All that's left is to create a final camera movement. Go to the last cam control 2 keyframe and duplicate this layer. Delete keys on a duplicated layer, parent cam control 2 to cam control 3. Create a position keyframe at 9 seconds 4 frames. Go to 1501 and move on that position to 1924. Select keys, press F9, create this speed graph. Let's color correct these characters a little bit and create an animation for them. Apply levels effect on woman and increase output black to around 1000. And what about her head movement? We'll do it using a Puppet tool. Select woman layer, click on the puppet tool and start creating these 4 dots from her head to her feet along the body. Press U on your keyboard and you will see all the puppet keyframes. Try to move her head dot a little bit to the left. Go on timeline 1 second forward and move her head to the right a little bit. Select these 2 head keyframes, press F9. To create a constant head movement, alt-click on puppet pin 1 position and type loop out, brackets, quotation marks, ping pong. After that, select all the keyframes and move them to the start of this layer. After the camera goes closer to a president, we need to defocus this woman, so apply fastbox blue on her and create a blue radius keyframe at 10 seconds 20 frames. At 11:23, increase blur radius to 4. And what about our president? As we see, when the camera goes closer to him, his quality is much better than our cabinet image. So apply fastbox blur on him and increase blur radius to 0.4. Let's also create a puppet pin animation of his head. Just repeat the process as with our woman. Create puppet pins along his body. Press U to see keyframes. Move his head a little bit to the left on the first keyframe. Go to 1 or 2 seconds forward and move his head to the right. Select keys, press F9, alt-click on puppet 1 and type loop out ping pong. After that, move all the keys to the beginning of this layer and adjust space between them if you need. We definitely want to color correct this president and to create a feeling that the light falls on him. To do this, duplicate main layer and isolate this layer by pressing this icon here. Apply tint effect. Then apply extract and drag this line till we remove all black parts from his back. You can also move this bottom square to make our extract more soft. Apply deep glow or standard glow and decrease radius to 500, exposure to 0.01. Turn off this layer isolation by clicking on this icon and change its blending mode to screen. Now you see the difference. Don't forget to drag our particles overlay here, change its blending mode to screen, move somewhere here on the timeline and make it 3D. It should be placed near the cabinet layer on Z position. Change its scale to around 40–50%. All that's left is to deal with the nuclear explosion. But before we'll drag nuclear explosion asset to our comp, we need to mask this area and only after that place the explosion behind this building. So isolate this first cabinet layer by pressing this icon here. We need to mask all this area, every rectangle. After masking the rectangle, press M on your keyboard and select Subtract. Go to the next rectangle and mask it again. Do this with all the rectangles at the top of the building. After you finish masking, duplicate this cabinet layer, delete all the masks from duplicated layer, and place this duplicated layer without masks under the layer with masks. Drag our nuclear explosion, place this asset between our cabinet layers. By the way, you can find similar explosions on YouTube by search explosion green screen. Make it 3D and find this spot between cabinet layers. Hold Ctrl on your keyboard while moving this asset by Z position, and it will be easier for you to find the right place. Scale it down. This layer should start at around 11.5 seconds. And I recommend to cut the cabinet layer with masks somewhere here because it ruins our window open transition. This nuclear explosion is super sharp and our background is not, so apply fastbox blue on it and increase blur radius to 2. Let's also create a shake effect at the moment of explosion. Create a new adjustment layer and place it on the top of all layers. Apply wiggle position preset on it. Set wiggle speed to 4, decrease wiggle amount to 0. At 11:19 create a wiggle amount keyframe. At 12:12 increase it to 80. At 13:16 decrease it back to 0. Uncheck this use composition shutter angle and set shutter angle to 200. Change sampling to bicubic. And we also need to change the color of all the scene at the moment of explosion. So create a new adjustment layer, place it at the top of all layers and name it Explosion CC. Go to 11 seconds 9 frames and create all the keyframes here at the basic correction section. Move on the timeline to 13 seconds 29 frames and set temperature to 78, contrast -54, highlights -63, shadows -54, whites -1, blacks -2. Delete tint saturation and exposure keys here at the beginning. Select all keys, press F9. All we need to do is to create a final slow camera movement. Go to the last keyframes of Cam Control 3 and duplicate this layer. Delete keys on duplicated layer and parent Cam Control 3 to Cam Control 4. Create the first position keyframe at 11 seconds. Go to 1725 and move on Z position to 2000. We are almost finished with our scene. All that's left is the main color correction. Create a new adjustment layer, place it at the top of all layers and apply vignette effect on it. Change vignette amount to 120. On a new adjustment layer, apply noise effect and increase it to 8 or maybe 6. This grain will give us some cinematic film vibes. Create a new adjustment layer and apply Lumetri color. Here at the creative section, near look, select SL big and decrease intensity to 30. And now I want to show you the easy method of color correction. Turn off visibility of our color correction adjustments, create a new one and apply Magic Bullet Looks plugin. It's not a standard After Effects plugin, it's a paid one, but it saves a lot of time and have a lot of cool presets. Click Edit here. Hover your mouse over looks and you will see tons of different presets. My favorite is here at Blockbuster section, and it's called Classic Tension. You can change any settings you want and we can lower its strength to around 40%. Enable visibility of noise plus vignette and decrease vignette amount to 100 if you want to use looks. With Lumetri color it should be 120. Last thing we need to do is to create a new black solid, name it Jaws, and place it at the top of all layers. Apply CC Jaws effect on it and increase completion a little bit to see the effect. Decrease height to 0. At 0 frames, decrease completion to 0. At 1 second 17 frames, increase it to 100. Select keys, press F9, create this speed graph. After that, enable Deep Glow on 9062 comp, go inside it and turn on motion blur on all numbers layers. Go back and enable motion blur on all the layers. Select all keys, pre-comp them and name scene. And here at the end create an opacity fade up animation. Now let's have a look at the final result. I really hope this tutorial was helpful for you and that you learned a lot of new things. Please support me with a like and leave a comment if you want to see more tutorials. It means a lot to me. See you in the next video.